There is a reason why, oh heck, let's spell it this way just to make the point. There is a reason why rhyme is the root word of rhythm. Or the other way around, if it helps you think of it. Because rhythm is the patterns of rhyme over time. That's a clock. See what I did there? That's a case in point. Rhythm is the patterns of rhyme and time. Oh, rhyme over time is the reason for rhythm. Just go with me here. I can use notation with caution to make it clear. Think of it as a picture of sound happening over time. Just go with me here. I can use notation as a way to make it clear. Just think of it as a picture is worth 1,000 words. In this case, we're using notation over time. It's on graph paper, so it's actually spaced out the way it would occur in time, going from here to here. This would be the fourth beat, starting here. This would be the first beat, starting here. This would be the second beat, starting here. And this would be the third beat, starting here. And the words for this would be our guest, be our guest. And the beats that they would be, it happens to start on the fourth beat, so it's 4, that's the and halfway through. 1 is the first beat, 2 and 3, all the way up to 4. Makes for 4 full beats. If you don't understand these numbers, don't worry. It's really just what people do. Yes, it's very important, it's part of it, but you don't need that to understand the next point. So here's that whole line, be our guest, put our singing to the test, as the tidesmen entertain you, be assured we'll do our best. So there it is in its entirety, and it happens in that form 5 times we get that line. It is the bulk of the song. So what I've put on here, besides the notation, this is what it would look like. I showed you this first. Now here's the rest of it. And it's 4 bars long, and it's containing a 2-bar phrase here, and 2 2-bar phrases here. So when we say, be our guest, it's like the first half is something that has to complete, put our singing to the test. So da 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 is an answer in balance to da 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 da. Okay, so these two make up the first 2 bars. Be our guest, put our singing to the test. It makes up a nicely structured 2 bars. And even within that, you can see that the first statement, be our guest, is also a balanced structure. It's identical. So it's perfectly symmetrical. Both sides are the same. And then even if you look within it, first 2 beats has a symmetry. It has 8/8 quarter, or short, long. It has twice as many short notes, half as many long notes. It has, if those are 8s, 2 8s, or 1/4. There's a symmetry there. And then if you look even within the first beat, it is a balanced pair of 8s. It is symmetrical by definition. So we have a 2-bar structure, which is within the 4 bars. Within the 2 bars, we have 1 bar that answers 1 bar. But even within the first bar, you have a balanced structure. So even within the first bar, you have a balanced structure. Within the first half of that bar, you've got a balanced structure. And even within 1 beat, you have a balanced structure. So you have symmetry all structured out on this half. As opposed to the second half, which is just 1 stream of equal notes. Very important to realize that that stream of equal notes is for a reason. So let's look at the harmony. So we already said that this is identical to that, but what isn't is the harmony. 5 1 5. So that is a different harmony than this, but it's the 1-5. It's called dominant harmony. It's what defines the key. It's a perfect way to start. 5-1, 5-1-5-1. Simple as you can get, and spaces between the changes. Now look at these changes. Every single half beat. These are all the chord changes that go all the way through. This is what we call diatonic, as in no flats or sharps or accidentals. And this is chromatic. All the parts have different in-between notes. If this was in the key of C, for example, this would be all white notes. And in this half, we're throwing in all these harmonies and all these complexities and chromaticism with the black notes. Okay, so now we have an idea of this structure. So what I've done in the first one is circled the rhyming words. Be our guest, put our singing to the test. As the talisman entertain you, be assured we'll do our best. So even that has structure that shows the structure I already showed you. One rhyming word for this entire phrase. And this side we have 3 rhyming words. And where are they? The last one rhymes with the first 2. So that's the 2-bar structure. That's the 1-bar structure. That's the half bar. So even the rhyming words show you this structure. Okay, so I circled the rhyming words. In the rest of this, this is the verse, the line 2 of the verse. So all I did was put the first letter of each word, except I wrote out the rhyming word. So as we sing chords that ring in that 4-part harmony, you should all be quite contented because we love your company. So we have sing, ring, harmony, company. Again, it shows us this structure. But now it's a little more integrated, because instead of keeping the rhyming words within all the same, it starts with the rhyming words and then points out the bigger structure with rhyming words at the end of the 2 bars. Okay, in the third one, let's be clear. We are here to put music in your ear, and we hope that you will all enjoy our quest. Okay, so the third one is a slightly different here on the end. Why? Because something's happening. Something's about to happen. And we have clear here and ear, so back to showing the form of this, because the second half is going to change, and the quest rhymes all the way back to the first line and the title, and it stretches out this 3 beats, quest. So it's indicating something's changing, and that is the bridge coming up, or whatever you want to label it. Accept our invitation without hesitation. So what we have is, for the first time since the intro, we have syncopation. Accept our invitation. Hesitation, and we have counterpoint. That is 2 different parts within the quartet, going back and forth. So this bridge is a nice rhythmic change that everybody loves to sing. It's got juice in it, and then it's balanced off. Be our guest, oh please be our guest, please say yes, ritardando. So it's slowing down. Again, this is going to break up the form. This is going to say something. Pause. Be. Another pause. Our. Now accelerando, we're going to start slow. Guest. Be our guest. Acquiesced to our request. In our quest to entertain you, we are really quite obsessed. Well, that's a good word for it, because you've got obsessed, quest, ask, guest. You got 6 rhyming words. So they've really, obsessed on this thing. And now we're back up to full speed by this next line. We would like you to know that we love to do this show, as the joy upon the faces of our basses should attest. So we're in this humor vein. We're back up to running speed. And our rhyming has now got some juice in the last half here, which has until now been quite void. It's had a quest, obsessed here. But this puts some nice wordy bits in the second half. So something's up here too, with the faces, bases, attest, going back to the previous line before it. So we're back up to full speed. We know the form of the song. It's well acquainted to the listener, and it's perfect time for do, 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 do with the MC telling a story over top, because we're on the home stretch here, with the recapturing of the tempo in the fourth. After the fourth line, we're back to the home stretch. Do, do, do tells the story that the MC tells, and then we're flow right back into the bridge, which is accept our invitation with in two-part invitation without hesitation. Be our guest, be our guest, be our guest. Retardando. And finally the tag. Be our guest, be our guest, be our guest, be our guest, be our guest. The Tysman's guest. This will show you that they're all rhythms happen for a reason. Wherever there's a change, like this change in the second guest, with this retardando, it is the groundwork for these two pauses and accelerando and so on. This change of pace, this sense of homeward stretch. Every bit of rhythm is for a good reason. The structure of that is absolutely divine. It is perfect. And this dotted rhythm, which means the long, short, long, da, 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 always occurs on the second beat, because that's where it balances the first. If you were to try and, conjure up a reason for moving it around, ignoring all structural things, it might be that you're going to try and word set it. Well, if you were going to set the words better, you would say in that four-part harmony, for example. But there's no way you're going to do that, because this is the rhythm. If you clapped that rhythm and didn't speak a word, that's the rhythm that makes sense. That's the rhythm that has structure. And you're going to see that the placement of this, if you don't already sense that placement is the balance to this, like if you took it out, da 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 da, yeah, it makes sense if you're in grade 3. But da 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 has infinitely more pizzazz to it, and it has to be balanced by simplicity, especially with this hard change of chords all the time. Okay, so the word setting thing fails anyway, because I circled them. These are the ones in question here. So let's be clear. We are here to put music in your ear. If you said, let's be clear, we are here to put music in you. See, it's just goes against every bone in your body to put that the way that typo made it. Let's be clear, we are here to put music in your ear. No, it doesn't flow. It's bad word setting at best. And why are you going to introduce one in all of these that are all the same? One's going to have a dotted rhythm on, and we hope that you will. Well, dotted rhythms flow, but this is not the case for it. This is the case because of the harmonic rhythm, because of the complexities of chromaticism, because it's very syllabic. There's a syllable for every single eighth note all the way through. This is a time where you just spit it out in strict rhythm. And it would be the only oddball. And it's just, well, you'll see in the next bit that there's more to this structure than even the symmetries point to. Okay, if you were to stretch out on a graph paper all the way from the intro, which is 4 bars, first verse, or the first line of the verse, second line of the verse, third line of the verse, bridge, the retardando stretches it out past what you would think. Then the fourth one, and it compresses back together again because we're accelerando. And we're at full swing in this verse. We're on the home stretch, the do-do, the bridge, the final writ, and the tag. Okay, so what's divine about this whole thing? Well, If you know anything about the golden rectangle and the Fibonacci series and how this sense of proportion is found not only in man-made things, all the arts have it in some way or another, but in nature, whether it's a spiral of branches around a tree, or a conch shell, or sunflower seeds, or the spiral of a galaxy in the universe. The Fibonacci series is based on a certain proportion, and that proportion can be expressed as this number here, 1 point blah 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 blah. And what it really is if you take the series, which is you just add the last two numbers. So if you start with 1, add to 1, you'll get 2. 1 and 2 make 3. 2 and 3 make 5. 3 and 5 make 8. 8 and 5 make 13. 21, and so on. It goes forever and ever and ever. And it starts off, the final number minus the other number is the proportion. So we can actually work it out to an irrational number, but this is found in all sorts of things, whether it's great Mozart symphonies and the man-made stuff, or architecture, or so on, or art. In music, it's found all sorts of examples of it, whether it's a Mozart symphony or Happy Birthday. It comes at this high. I put the arch upside down, but it happens at this kind of 2/3, just before 2/3 place. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday. There's a climax there, happy birthday to you. Okay, so this shape is found in this. It's pretty clear. It's got all these different verses and information and so on. Then it's got a bridge and it's got a pause, and it's lost all its speed and and by the time we hit full swing in the 5th verse, that's at that point. And the interesting thing is that the tag that we picked in Robert's recording puts that very accurately at that point. So just the way Robert played it on the piano, naturally found full swing, which produces the home stretch, which produces the do-do part where we can back off. We're on the home stretch, the MC gets to do the thing, then we have this bridge and this wonderful tag. Okay, so now if we go back to this just for a second and we look at what this first half again with all this beautiful structure in it, there's another point to that structure. If you put out all the beats that go da da da, all the da 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 da, the 16th divisions, that's the smallest note, which is that small note, you get 32 sixteenths, if you will. And if you graph out da 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 da, and you multiply that number through and you find the high point, well, it's at the 19.777 and whatever. It is the closest spot to the 20th, right? This grid line. And what is that? That's the first note. That's that rhythm that has to be maintained on that beat, in that place, not just for this reason, because you might not even believe in the golden rectangle and golden proportion and all that sort of stuff. It's really so that the pattern doesn't interfere with the other things that change. The only time you change a pattern is for that very reason, to bring out emphasis in something. So that is in the shape of our whole song. It is a special place, but it has this special place, and it occurs in every verse, and it is the shortest note. It defines the grid, if you will, because to put it on the grid, that's the shortest note. That's how big the grid has to be. Okay, there's one other thing. Just to make the point, the explanation point at the end, one more example. This wonderful tag, very guess, very guess, very guess, very guess, very guess. The Tideman's guess is da 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 da, that short note on the 2 and 3. 1, 2, 1. As you know, we must grow, so we just repeat the show for all members of the Tidesmen who deserve to really know. Let's be clear, we are here to have fun and go for beer, but we're yearning for the learning to improve our scores next year. So let's sing chords that ring, let the magic that we bring to our audience define what we must do. Accept my invitation without hesitation, take my quest, oh please take my quest, please say yes.